Rango. I am really excited to talk about this 4K, though not as excited as thought I was going to be after watching it. But let's talk about this. So I am trying to get back into more physical media reviews. I haven't been doing those a lot lately, just because I've been so caught up with videos. This next month, I'm slowing down on some of the videos. I have to make this new content so I can go back and kind of talk about some of these releases. Some of these releases may be from May, they may be from June. That's just kind of how my schedule worked out. But let's talk about this one. So I've loved this movie for a very long time. This movie came out in 2011, so 13 years ago up until now. Well, yeah, it was about 2010, 2011, somewhere there. It was like quite a few years ago now. I saw this back in the theater. This is a really cool movie that I think the older I get, the better it gets. So if you don't know what this movie is, it's a very bizarre movie. It's a Paramount animated movie. It's also a Nickelodeon animated movie, and we'll get into why that's such a weird thing. It's directed by Gore Verbinski. I apologize if I butcher that name. He's the director of the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, The Lone Ranger. We don't really need to talk about that one. He did A Cure for Wellness and a few other titles that are just really amazing movies. Mouse Hunt. Guys, all over the map with his filmography, but most of his films are really excellently well-directed movies. And this remains no different. And this movie is, it's a Western movie that uses motion capture to do some of the animation. I know what you're thinking, motion capture like that Robert Zemeckis Polar Express stuff. Not so much. Like, it's very much an animated movie still, but it's like they'd have real actors doing the movements, and then they would animate like actors doing the movements. So Fantastic Mr. Fox kind of did a similar thing. This movie did that. So kind of that kind of stuff. Just there is actual motion capture instead of just live action references. So it's kind of interesting, unique for animation, and it's a Western movie. So it's very fascinating, this movie, because it's a very adult animated movie where, like, you could show this movie to a kid and I think they would enjoy it because it's an entertaining movie, but they wouldn't understand quite a bit of it. Like, I enjoyed this movie as a kid, but I don't think I understood what was going on in it, because it's paying homage to the genre westerns. It's very classic in that way. It's got all the tropes of a new guy in town claims to be a big shot and then kind of gets swept up into this western town and trying to help them find resources to survive, has to do the duels and that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of tropes in there. There's Clint Eastwood is the spirit of the West. To me, when I was a kid, I didn't know who Clint Eastwood was, and it was very like, oh, this is a weird sequence. And then you got a lot of the humor in the movie. There's stuff that I enjoyed, like, when is the lizard going to die? But other stuff, like some of the weird lines some of the characters would say, like the very adult. There's a lot of innuendos in this movie, and not any that a kid would pick up on, but old enough that they're surprisingly edgy, surprisingly boundary pushing for a PG animated movie, but they're really funny and they're great. They're well written lines, and it really helps this movie out, because what's great about this movie is this is a liar revealed type story, and those tropes are usually bad. But what's great about it here is you don't really care, because Rango's actually doing a lot for the people of this town, and you love all these characters. Everybody's given their one little moment and line to shine. You kind of understand what their role is here, and so you grow to love this town. and you just really don't want to see anything happen to it. And it's a really investing movie. It's a really great Western. It's got a great score by Hans Zimmer. See, I'm just as good as Hans Zimmer, guys. But it's got a great sound to it. It's a great movie. In and out of everything. It's just really well done. If you really love Westerns and animated movies, you gotta watch this movie. And it is such a unique movie, not because it is a Nickelodeon animated movie, and it being as edgy as it is. The animation style, look at these character designs. They're very ugly. And not like they're unappealing ugly, but they're just very realistic to what these animals actually look like. They're very just oddly designed characters. But it's a really well done movie in so many regards. So much here to really love and appreciate. And there are so few animated Westerns. The only one I can think of is American Tail 2, Fievel Goes West. But it's not really a great movie. It's okay. I don't really have any major feelings about that. It's fine, but like this is something wholly different that is so well done. It actually won Best Animated Feature that year. Though I will say it was rightfully deserved, but at the same time there wasn't really many movies. Like Pixar put out Cars 2 that year. It was like Puss in Boots that year and a few other like stuff like that. Like this was obvious to win. I feel like if it had been a year with other heavy hitters, it might not have won, even though this film is really damn good. Let's talk about this Steelbook. So this Steelbook is gorgeous. Just pulling this off. Look at that. That is beautiful. I love the back there. I didn't really think we'd get anything like for this movie. I thought this would just be like a Blu-ray only type deal. There you go. There's a little fingerprint on the 4K disc. Yep, gone now. Okay, that's good. Gotta be really careful with 4K discs. Like Blu-ray discs, you shouldn't scratch them. You shouldn't get fingerprints on them. I've noticed though, when you get them on a Blu-ray disc, they're fine. They'll read just fine. You don't really have issues. 4K disc, not the case. So I'm really careful with my 4K disc for that reason. But this one is a nice looking Steelbook. I was excited about this release because I love this movie. I had the Blu-ray. I immediately jumped at the chance to upgrade because it's just a great movie. And I think the 4K is an improvement, but it really was not as much as an improvement as I thought it was. The way that I could notice is the animation was slightly brighter. Other than that, and it had slightly deeper resolution, everything. Other than that, I didn't really notice anything different. The movie still looked and felt the same as it did on Blu-ray. I think if you don't have this movie, it's a great upgrade because of the Steelbook and everything. But if you do have this movie, I don't know if you need to upgrade unless you really, really love this movie. I would say definitely do, because I love the movie, but I don't know you and your tastes. So I would just say, if you're upgrading for quality, the artwork of the Steelbook is there, not so much the 4K transfer. And I don't think that's like a blemish on the transfer they did. I actually think it's a good transfer, but I just think it's because this movie already looked incredible already that there wasn't really much work to be done. And so they did what they could do, and it looked about as good as it could. But which to say is this movie looks amazing. It's a beautifully animated movie. It's a really well directed movie. It's got great cinematography. Again, I can gush about this movie all day. Definitely grab this movie if you do not have this movie. Let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe.